And it just worked out. I mean, he had a good day. He didn't have an unbelievable day by any stretch, like Arnie talked about. I mean, I think he averaged 270-some watts, 280 watts. I think, from the calculations that we did, George Hincapie actually averaged more than that last year on the same stage when he won. So it was a good stage. It was well within his abilities, obviously, and I think a combination of things made it an unbelievable race.
So, just following up on this, to what extent were you advised by Eddie Merckx on this? There's been all sorts of stories about that. Do you want to tell us about that night before? And did Eddie call you and talk to you, or was he there in your room?
No, I didn't speak with Eddie the night before that. I did see him a few times throughout the tour, and I saw him following stage 17. It was a decision between the team director and I and a few of the other guys in the team who I trust. We discussed what the possible upside was to trying something like that. It hasn't been done lately, at least. And we decided that the risk was pretty small of losing much. At that point, it was in 11th place, and between 11th place and 30th place, in my mind, is not very important. No, we didn't get any advice from Eddie, but if I had to guess, I think that he probably would have tried the same thing.
Doctor, I know you said there's certain parts of the defense that you can't talk about because you don't want to give away what your strategy is, but some of these, there have been recent revelations in the press that some of the same people that handled the A sample handled the B sample, I guess, and then there was another cyclist who had the same thing happen to his sample and he was exonerated. Do you think that, how confident do you feel and how confident do you feel, Floyd, given that new information and all the information you have, that you'll be exonerated too, based on everything, including that new revelation that the same people handled the samples?
In a sense, I was getting that a little bit when I was talking about blinding, because laboratories are supposed to examine samples and not know who they're examining. And one of the other rules that's built in is this same analyst rule, which basically is so that a lab tech isn't really involved in verifying their own work, where they might have a conflict of interest. And we know from the chain of custody records that there was an analyst involved in both the A and the B, and to what extent that analyst was involved and how important it will be, we're trying to get more information in discovery. So I wouldn't say that issue, that we have enough information to really address the issue. I will say that it's just one of many arguments, and it's not nearly high on the list compared to the other dispositive arguments that we have.
How confident do you feel that, how confident do you feel about it? How confident do you feel that it will work out the right way?
Look, we don't know what's going to happen in the hearing. We're going to do our best to educate the arbitrators and explain to them the problems with the test, and then it'll be up to them. In the meantime, we're going to also do our best to educate the rest of the people that are interested in knowing the truth, so that in the event that the system doesn't work and if the hearing is not fair, that at least everybody gets to hear the whole story. Right now we're hopeful. We'll leave it at that.
Floyd, this is Dan Rose, and I do the brand your head off love just for the people in the audience who actually read it. Two questions for you. First question is, at what point in the tour, after stage 17 or during stage 17, did you actually know that you were going to win the race? And the second question is it true that Jack Daniels will be sponsoring the next one?
Well, look, in any race, at any point, it's not wise to convince yourself that you know you're going to win. Anything can happen at any point. I was pretty confident after stage 17 that I could win, knowing the time differences and the abilities of the contenders in the time trial. That said, again, a flat tire or a mistake or any other strange event or just somebody having a very good day is enough to change the outcome. So there's never any relief until the finish line. As far as the Jack Daniels, we could use an alcohol sponsor at this point.
I can say that we've been conducting.
I sponsor Jack Daniels right now. So.
Let's leave it this way. We were conducting our own research with Jack Daniels and sampling and tasting. So
Let's go to the back.
Hi, Floyd. Thanks. My name is Jim Bianco. Part of the Floyd Fairness Fund is also to help other athletes, so my line of questions will be along those lines. Do you have any comments about Terry Madden leaving USADA and Travis Target taking over? Also, do you have any comments about the UCI's new anti-doping rules that were released the other day? And third, do you plan on releasing any documents after the May 14th meeting? A lot of stuff that Arnie talked about that you've gotten during Discovery that you're not putting up on your website. I understand that there's supposed to be another Discovery motion to be ruled on any day if it hasn't been ruled on already. So if you could comment along those lines.
I just want, before I hand it back to Floyd, Jim, you blog for Steroid Nation, correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you. Like Dan, who's a blogger, and Jim, who's a blogger, anybody who sort of writes with the public record, if you could identify yourself as such, it would be helpful for us. Not that it's going to change the answer, but so you know where the questions are coming from and where you could read them tomorrow.
What was the question again?
Terry Mann.
Terry Mann.
I don't have any reference as to what's going on at USADA with Terry Madden or the management of USADA. I don't have any way of knowing why it is he made that decision. What was the...
UCI. The UCI.
100%.
What's going on with the UCI and their anti-doping plan? I saw a vague description. Apparently they're now 100% against it.
What were they before?
It's hard to say.
How about Discovery? Anything new on Discovery?
Post May 14th Discovery items online?
Oh, the Discovery things, look, the hearing on the 14th will take, I assume, at least a week, and just for everyone's knowledge, it will be public, and so right now I don't have any reason to believe that any of it will be kept confidential, so everything at that point should be available. I don't have any objection to making everything public now. There's been a motion by USADA and the arbitrators to try to keep things more confidential in light of the new Discovery things, so we agreed to that, which is the reason we haven't made a whole lot of revelations lately about that, but it in no way changes our tactics of how we want to deal with things, and I don't see any reason why after the hearing everything won't be available to everyone.
We've talked a lot about Discovery. Arnie.
Easy, Arnie.
Discovery is a touchy subject for Arnie. He wants more. Arnie, why don't you take this one? Somebody get a picture of it.
Someone take a picture, man.
This will never happen again. No, we were early on, and what you're looking at today is a three-dimensional version of our Wiki defense. Our Wiki defense, which the centerpiece of that was Arnie's What's Fair is Clear presentation, and our efforts on October 12th to first make everything available to the public, largely through the internet, in an effort for transparency and accountability. And it's been quite a fight just to get back to start with Discovery. And all the issues of whether or not we're going to be able to make that public or not aside, it's important to note that what we're getting now is still very lean compared to what we're asking for. And there's quite a bit of fight from the other side. So if USADA had its way, and what would happen is that they would have access to all sorts of information beyond the 370-page lab document package that Floyd would have absolutely no access to. And at this point, why would they want to give it to us? Because Arnie's going to look at it. I don't think it could come out of that for them. But I mean, in terms of due process, he should have the right at the very start to way more than what they've given. So look, if we could make it public, perhaps we would. But now we are trying, just like we're asking for them to follow their own rules and not violate process, we're doing the same. In terms of the UCI 100%, UCI announced, for those of you that don't know, yesterday